All right, everybody. How's everyone doing today? I'm London Breed. I'm mayor of San Francisco, and I'm really glad to be here today to honor an extraordinary San Franciscan and an extraordinary human being, Jacqua. Now, now here's the thing about Jack. We know President of the Board of Supervisors, Shaman Walton, has honored him. We know that oftentimes people are trying to give him attention and accolades and support, and usually he doesn't even want to be bothered with it. Because many of us who have known him for so many years, we know what is most important to him, and that is taking care of young people in San Francisco. I remember when I first met Jack, look, I didn't get in that much trouble to the point where I went to juvenile, but sadly my brother did, and other people that I grew up with in the Fillmore did, and Jack was there for them. And in fact, I started to get involved with Omega Boys Club because of Jack and because of his advocacy. And I thought, honestly, who is this white man coming to the projects just with no fear and getting major respect from everybody in the community, and knocking on our doors, talking to, the parents, the moms, the kids, everybody in the community. And it was Jack. And I thought, not only is he brave, but isn't that amazing to have someone who understands the system working to deal with the challenges of the system. And think about it, at the time when he started doing this work, I gotta say, a lot of like my grandmother and that generation, there was somewhat of a level of fear and uncomfortableness with dealing with the establishment. And truth be told, with dealing with white folks in this city. And to have someone like Jack, who was this advocate, who was unapologetic, who was not afraid to have the conversations and advocate and fight for people, was something that I always treasured, I always valued, and I got engaged in Omega Boys Club and went with Jack to some of those sessions in juvenile hall, talking to the young girls, the few young girls that were up there, and I just thought, wow, this could really change lives. This was at a time when juvenile hall was packed, log cabin was packed, YA was packed, and it was packed with all of our people, mostly African Americans in the city. And even though our numbers are smaller than they've ever been, they were still small back then. And disproportionately, we should have not been impacted in the ways that we were in the juvenile justice system in San Francisco, but we were. And we had people like Jack, who of course showed up to the courts, showed up to our houses, showed up to the good times, a few of the events we invited to when some people turned their lives around and was having a baby or getting married or a life experience. And what he has done, I'm sure many of you who have probably been the beneficiaries of his love and kindness and support can tell much better stories than I can, but what he has done has really turned lives around. Because sadly, we've lost a lot of people over the years. We've lost a lot of people to the criminal justice system. We lost a lot of people to drugs, to death, to destruction. And just imagine how many more people's lives would have been lost if it weren't for Jack. And that's why we're all here today. I know Shaman and his participation with Omega Boys Club and Uncle Corey and a few others. And I think about just how amazing this program was and how critical Jack's role was in this program. And he didn't need a name or a title or a program or anything else to do what he was doing. And it's so funny because people would always ask, well, who is he? And try to explain what his job is. I could never tell you what his job is. I just know it's Jack. If you say Jack, everybody knows who you're talking about. Folks are going to look for him. And I remember when I was at the African American Art and Culture Complex, and we work with a lot of young people. And Dr. Marshall was working with us with some of these boys, and we had a number of challenges. And, you know, it was very heartbreaking that we're talking about the next generation of young people who were ending up in juvenile hall. And I told those boys, I was like, you get in trouble, I'm not coming up here. But I did go up there. And when I went up there to see some of them on occasion, of course, Jack was always there. And he had already established this relationship with them. And the love, the care, the kindness, the support, the consistency, and yeah, the tough love of telling them about themselves is something that is just really valued in the lives of those young people who you've touched. And so I wanted us to honor you here today. And I know when we see each other, I can't help but think of what happened way back then and what could have happened to me too. And the conversations we've had over the years where in some ways, sometimes you don't really feel as a young person that you really matter. And people like Jack in the conversations made me feel like I mattered because I couldn't believe he was like, yeah, you can come to juvenile and talk to the kids there, you know, and be a part of the solution. And I thought, wow, I'm somebody. Just because he gave me a chance to be a part of something to help other people. And he does that for so many people and has done it for so many years. And so, Jack, you've really been a blessing to so many people. And we could talk about, of course, working as a teacher at Betrayal Hill Middle School, where we got chased out of after we beat them in basketball. Y'all remember those days. Yeah, we got chased out of there. Luckily, that 22 was coming when we got down that hill, because, whew. But we could also talk about, you know, just all the things that you continue to do to really be a consistent blessing and support. Because a lot of people have come and gone in this advocacy world. A lot of folks have been there for 5 minutes, maybe 5 years or so, but you have been constant. You have been a steadfast supporter, an advocate, and friend to so many people. And so today, we are here to honor you for that commitment, even though I knew it took a lot to get you to accept this. But you couldn't turn one of your kids down. You could turn the mayor down, but you can't turn one of your kids down. So that's why I knew we could get you here. I knew that we could get you here because it was important that you understand how much you are loved, how much you are respected, how much you are appreciated, even though we know that's not why you do the work. You have been a blessing to this city. You have been a blessing to so many people's lives. And I just wanted a chance to honor you in this capacity so that you know how much you are appreciated and respected, and how there has never been anyone like you, and we know that there never will be. And we're just grateful to just know you and be a part of your life. And so today, not because it's your birthday, but just because I'm mayor and I could do that. Today, come on up, Jack. On behalf of the City and County of San Francisco, Jack Jacqua Day in our city. Okay, and one more thing. I know you don't like to dress up, but that's okay. Every time you go, sometimes when you go to Glide, I could tell you might have changed a shirt or two. I know that, but maybe. But one day you're going to get a shirt where you're going to be able to wear these cufflinks with the city seal with my signature on them.
I thought you'd say one day when you have a shirt that says London Breed for president.
We'll see. But ladies and gentlemen, let's give Jack some love.
I'm really honored. I really am. These things are kind of hard sometimes for people. And yeah, but I'm really honored just sitting here in this incredible building that we're in. And you're my loved ones sitting here, the village. The village is sitting here. And just to be in the company of people who we live together, we struggle together, we cry together, been to funerals together. And I just want to thank Shaman and, of course, today, the mayor. And I know, you know what? London is so real. And that's the thing. I don't always agree with everything. It's irrelevant to become a little, but you are so real. I mean, you really represent the people, the neighborhood you come from, and the emotions, the anger, the fear, the pain of the people. You really do. I see, there was a youngster at the county jail, maybe Ayula, well, I don't know how to say his last name. Well, I say his last name is Jackson. I think it was Jackson. But he knew you, and he'd been involved in some of your programs at the, at the center. And I was talking to him. He was in the county for a year or two and then went home. But he would talk about you, always talking about you, and had your phone number and called you at home. So he said, and I believe that he did. And I said, can you do that now? She's a supervisor, or you're the mayor. And he said, yeah. She said, call anytime. It's okay. And he actually gave me the number, but I never called. But I really, and I don't want to exclude Shaman's love either, because it's nice to have a couple of people running the city who come from the roots of the city. I won't make any other political statements, but the fact is, you're real, and that's what the kids want, what the youngsters want. Somebody who's real, and you're real, and you do it with such ease. You really do. And I know you struggle inside like everybody else, but you're magnificent. You really are. You're magnificent, London Breed. You're magnificent. So just in a couple minutes, I'm not one to go on and on, but I got to just introduce some of the village. Because it's a moment for you to be celebrated also. So if I don't mention your name, don't get all angry, because it's impossible. We're not going to be here for 2 hours, and some of you, I can't even remember your name. But I actually, Corey's something else. We all know Corey. In the old days, we'd come up because Corey was kind of an original. I don't think he was the original, but he was original. And the whole thing with Corey is he wouldn't speak. He wouldn't talk. Corey was like he was silenced, like he was a mime or something. He'd just say, and it always was about his cousin or nephew, Shaq. I don't know I never could figure out the relationship, but some family relationship, and Corey never said anything. I said, Corey, say something. Just make sure people know you're alive, man. We got other people, Maceo, Jermaine, Siobhan, talking. Talk, man. Say something. He wouldn't say anything. Now you can't shut him up. I mean, he comes to a meeting, say, Corey, take 5 minutes. It's 20 minutes into the meeting. Corey, please, get off the line. Like, what's going on here? We've got to go. But I love Corey. Corey has been a faithful, well, you know, the deal is Corey's doing the work. And he continues to do the work. And actually, you don't mind me saying so, you just turned 70 or what was it? No, I think he just turned 50. But the thing of it is, he's doing it more than ever. Now I can't keep up with him. He's all over the place. He got himself a car. You know, he even pays for the gas now. But so Marcel is sitting here. I got to mention Marcel. Does everybody know Corey? I'm not going to take long, but okay. So Marcel is right here. And the reason I make it, Marcel was an original, Omega, an original, one of the top, well, not top, one of the first 10 or 15 people. And that was an honor because I was working with Corey. I think Dr. Marshall was working with Corey. Marcel. We're working with Marcel at the school and in the community. And I wasn't sure that he was going to buy into what we were doing with Omega, because it was a boys' club. It was a serious boys' club, a boys' club that was into information. And, you know, I really wanted young people to become sort of like revolutionary figures, making change, just like the people I've mentioned here earlier. But Marcel subscribed, and he came into the club and has been part of it for 35 years. 35 years, that's Marcel right here. And anyways, Siobhan, of course, sitting there is the original Omega as well, the first woman that graduated from the program. She's in the Delaware State Hall of Fame, Sports Hall of Fame. And, you know, she is really just beginning after a lifetime of being in the hood, being in the middle of change, reaching out to people. She's taken on new strength of her own, and she's amazing. She might be on a stamp one day. She's doing so much with so many people. And Siobhan in the Image of London is great, is fabulous. She's right by my side. A few other people. John Henry. Reason John Henry's sitting here. On all of our excursions into Juvenile Hall, I'm there actually every day, but we do meetings there, big meetings, a couple times a week. John Henry has been part of what we're doing there for probably 30 years. Corey used to be John Henry's mentor, case manager, and that's how the family works. And yeah, John Henry's amazing. He's one of the best speakers, motivators that, you know, I've seen. He's also starting his kind of a new career for him, voluntary career out on the street, doing a lot of work, healing, doing a lot of healing. I appreciate John Henry. Always gives a great message at Juvenile Hall. I see Sonny, and Sonny, it's amazing that you're standing there because you know, you and Lauren are great. You seem like you're always around when somebody is being honored, and, you know, there's love there, and I appreciate you guys. I want to make sure before I step down, anybody? Andre? Yeah, Andre, I got to. So Andre, yeah, Andre's right over there. Andre is amazing because when we started going into Juvenile Hall, which was about 1988. We met Andre in Juvenile Hall. It was in 1989. He was in serious trouble. He's a big-time gangbanger. His name rang bells on the street, you know, part of the Beasley family. And, you know, even though it wasn't a direct hit from the family, but he definitely was someone on his way to prison. He chose somewhere early on that he'd rather go to Penn State instead of the state pen. And today, you know, the amazing thing, he has had 3 of his children, actually, yeah, 3 go through the Omega academic program, and 2 of his daughters have graduated from Grambling with the help of Dr. Marshall. And Andre's beautiful wife with him, and I said wife, you know, and I think we just gave you applause for wife. Nobody's a wife anymore. I've been to a whole lot of funerals in the last 10 years and no weddings. And there's something about this, you know, thing about BMs. And when you say somebody that's married, there's a wife, and Marcel married also for 25 years. That's an honor. That's unbelievable. Today, it's unbelievable. And why are you giving me, do you want me to mention you? No, I didn't think so. No, but I mean, I don't know. I appreciate everything. I'm honored, and I thank you. I don't know about the cufflinks, though. I was saying, though, I will wear different shirts when London's running for the United States Senate, you know. And what I also want to say, too, before I sit down, is that I know that there is, in fact, a friend of mine is now a social worker who is working on getting Napoleon home. Napoleon being your brother. And we're working seriously on getting him home. So that's something very important, because he, Sonny Boy, was part of what we started with. He was part of Omega. We had him on the phone even when he was locked up. He'd speak to a meeting of 100 people. And he kind of carried a symbol of always hope. A great kid who just got caught up. A great kid who just got caught up. And Paul, unbelievable as well. You know, well, I don't even know that that's relevant, but one last thing. There was an escape. Used to be escapes from juvenile hall. I mean, really big escapes. And now, I don't think anyone's escaped from the place they want to shut down. But the old hall had big escapes. One time we had an escape, 14 people escaped from the difficult unit, you know, the lockdown unit. And Paul was in that unit, Paul Breed. And I ran upstairs. I was in the building with code blue, code red, and they all went off at the same time. Something seriously had happened. And I was just hoping and praying that Paul, who I was working with, I was praying that Paul was still there. He didn't leave. And when I got upstairs, because 14 young men left, 14 young men ran. And when I got upstairs to the unit 5 in the old juvenile hall, and opened the door, and Paul was just pacing up and down the floor. He didn't leave. And I always tell that story because that just shows the inner strength, the inner determination, the understanding within the breeds that is so deep, and all the breeds, William and Robert, and Charlie, may he rest in peace. I don't know whether any of them are related to London, but no, but yeah. But, and I have to say, Charles, rest in peace. But anyway, I thank you. I love you, Mama. Are you all right? You broke your foot? Because again, for anybody that doesn't know, this is the village right here. And you know, there are other villages. Village can be there when we leave. It's a village too. Papa Duck too. That's right. I'm glad I looked that way one time before I get off. Papa Duck. So Papa Duck is the village. And Papa Duck is the village. There's all kind of love to Papa Duck. You could tell stories for the next 5 hours about Papa Duck. And Ayula works at the county jail in San Bruno, and Ayula helps all of us and always has been there by our side, helping, and Omega herself. Where's Ayula? That's Ayula. Anybody else want to say something before I sit down? Don't get mad at me if I didn't mention your name. You want to say something? You got 30 seconds.
I'll let them say a few things.
30 seconds.
Well, first of all, clearly Jack has worked with all the breeds. But he also has worked with all of the folks in all of the communities. We got Sunnydale, Potrero Hill, the TLs, Fillmore, Hunters Point, representing, okay? And at this time, I want to ask the president of the Board of Supervisors to come up and say a few words about Jack. Shaman Walton.
First of all, I just definitely want to thank Mayor Breed for honoring Jack today and everybody for coming out. Oftentimes we wait until somebody is gone to acknowledge them, and the work that Jack has done over these past few decades is really unmatched. You see him years ago going in and out of juvenile hall on a daily basis, talking to our young people, spending time with them when most folks would turn their back on them, going into all communities in San Francisco, being with the families, talking to young folks. And he did that for decades and still continues to do that to this day. So I just want to thank the mayor for her acknowledgement. I want to thank Jack, of course, for all the work that you have done for all of our communities, for my family personally, and for everyone here. You are family. You are the true meaning of what it is to be a person in the village, of the village. And to London's point, it was a little weird at first to see someone who didn't look like us doing this work, but it doesn't matter, because wherever Jack goes, people are gonna look out for Jack. And I wish somebody would say something to Jack or try to do something to Jack. So I just want you to know we love you, we appreciate you. Congratulations on this honor, and we're gonna continue to celebrate you. Thank you.
Thank you. And I just want to thank Supervisor Asha Safai for joining us as well. He represents the Lakeview community, so I'm sure Jack done had some Lakeview folks in his portfolio over the years. And at this time, I know so many people here want to express their love for Jack, and I wanted to give you all an opportunity to do so. We're going to start with you, Uncle Corey. Come on up and say a few words, and if anyone else after Corey wants to have the floor to show Jack some love, please feel free to do so.
Thank you, Mayor Breed. I love saying that. London is really from the neighborhood, for real. Like, for real, thank you, President Walton. That's a blessing, man. People don't know how bad Shaman was. They be playing. I be playing nobody hit him with a pie in the face, because he be done slam somebody. But just grateful, man. Jack means the world to me, man. And Siobhan and Marcel and Andre, Damien, John, all of us members, Mo Allen, Papa, man, we just been around Jack our whole life. Like, we don't know nothing else, you know what I mean? One time, Jack didn't answer the phone, Siobhan calling. Like, if he don't answer the phone in like the first hour, we go crazy. Have you talked to him? Is he all right? And he in court, then he get hecka mad. What the hell wrong with all y'all? I'm like, won't you text somebody back, man? You know what I'm saying, Rudy? He go crazy, man. So we just so blessed to have Jack in our life. Thank you, Tyra. Tyra Fennell is the one who put all this together. So I had to talk to Tyra all the time. Tyra was putting this together, the mayor, and when they call, man, that's like the feds calling. Like, I ain't never been to jail, and I ain't trying to go, so I answer quick. What's up? You know what I mean? So that's real. And I'm blessed to work with Papa Anthony Austin. Papa Doug worked with me. It's just a blessing to see how far everybody has came, because Papa was in there with all the breeds. And Dre, them dudes was in there when it was like 100 people. Jack just showed a picture when Muhammad Ali came up there. That's a trip. They didn't mess with Muhammad, though. You know, he'd knock all 80 of them out. But just to see how far we come along in life, man, it's just a blessing, and we really, really appreciate it. And it's hard getting Jack an award, man. He don't, first off, he get mad. I don't get no awards. Then when he get an award, he don't want to come. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, I don't want to go. How many people? I really told him it's gonna be 3 people. Cause if I'd have said all y'all, he wouldn't have came. But he is so grateful and he's so blessed. So I'm about to get off the mic because Big Sis then stood up. It's like church, huh? You got to give people 2 minutes. Be like, man, I'm gonna sum Big Mama up. She just died 2 minutes. But I'm just grateful. And this is the First Lady of Omega. That a blessing, First Lady of Omega, right, to go there. I want to thank my sister, Lauren. That is my Jewish sister. We worked together for many years. Lauren worked with Lil Ray Ray and them out of Sunnydale, and she from New York, so she'll cuss you out. Like, sit yo down. And they like, oh, we like you, right? They don't sit down unless you cuss, right? And Sonny, just thank you so much. They took me to concerts, and we sat on the front row. Now, I'm from the hood. Our tickets be hella far. We went to see Prince. He was right there talking about, dun, 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 dun. And I'm like, dang, we right here. Baseball games, they go to players, so I'm just grateful. I really love y'all and Lil Ella, so we just blessed to just be around, man. And Jack, you are incredible.
Thank you, London Breed. Thank you, Shaman. Thank you to the community for showing up. Jack called me this morning at 8:30, and my name is Siobhan Hunter, if y'all don't know. Yes. He called me at 8:30 this morning and said, what in the hell y'all got me going to today at 4? I said, let me explain something to you. About 3 years ago, Jack was in the hospital, and we didn't know if he was going to be here or not, right? And that no one besides maybe 4 people knew that he was actually in the hospital until it was the 28th day. And I asked him, I said, dude, I cannot continue to hold this and not allow the village to pray with you and for you, those believers, because Jack is a believer in Christ. And so if you're a believer, it was required that we prayed for him. And so he was like, just tell, okay, you can pray for me, but you can't tell nobody where I'm at. Then it was, okay, you just can't, you could tell him I'm in the hospital, but you can't tell him what hospital. And so I called his sister. His sister name is Jill. His sister calls him Jackie, but his name is Jack, his sister name is Jill. So I called his sister Jill and was like, dude, your brother is tripping, right? And she said, make sure he is reminded that people want to give him his flowers while he is living. Because most of us don't appreciate the people that have shown us the way until we are dead. And so I just want to remind him that we want to give you your flowers while you on top of the soil. It's absolutely required that we live in peace now. We don't want to wait to rest in peace. And I know that my spirit wouldn't rest until I make sure that you know that I love you, I honor you, I cherish you, and I always represent you. And the people that's in this space would say ditto. So you need to know that you are loved. This is not about awards. This is about London wanting to honor you a long time ago. This thing called the pandemic, you know, I make it very clear that she said, y'all go home for 2 weeks on March 17th. She said, y'all go home for 2 weeks, and then y'all can come out in 2 weeks. And then it's been the longest 2 weeks of our life. It's been 2 years on March 16th. We're going to talk about that another day. But Jack, I just want you to know that you are loved, you are appreciated. I cannot say it enough. And this is a way of giving you your flowers now, and it will continue, because we don't know the day nor the hour. But we do know that you were loved by a group of people that you call family and that we call you family. So I love you, and have a blessed day, everyone.
What's up, everybody? Just want to take a quick second to honor Jack. Thank you, Mayor London Breed, Shaman, Tyra, the team, all the Omega family that's here today to honor this great man. Jack meant the world to me. Before I was standing here, it was a lot of times I went in and out of YGC, making my own decisions, thought I had it all in play. And one thing about what the mayor said, consistency was Jack. You know, it was times my own family member didn't believe in me. You know, folks from the community didn't. And even after making many, many mistakes, coming back, right? You know, back to jail, reoffending. You still stood by me 100%, never judged me. And every time I left out of there, you said, this is going to be the time you go get it right. And it's been about 25 years since I've been back and I've been right. So thank you, Jack. And appreciate you. And, you know, to Corey, you know, when we talk about the village and family, you know, this was my caseworker when I was locked up. And I sent Corey through a lot. You know, it's times I was supposed to be at home. I was out in the community. And he still believed in me. And, you know, thank you, Corey, for just believing in me. Because that love that you showed me, I'm standing here today doing the work in the community as well. And when you have a leader like Jack doing this work, you know, it's no price tag, right? You can't give up on some young people when you got this amazing man. It's like, how can someone who don't look like us do the work for our people the way he do the work with love, humility, compassion? And I just want to say thank you. And like Siobhan said, you know, we're not going to wait till a funeral day to honor you. And, you know, because a lot of times in our community, we don't acknowledge folks until they gone, and then we lose it. So thank you, Mayor, for highlighting Jack as one of our hidden gems of our community, and we salute you and we appreciate you, King.
I'm up here. I'm up here for sure. Couldn't hold me back. I'm busting at the seams over there, man. Jacqua is the only positive male role model I had in my life growing up. I'm gonna let that sit in real quick. And my mama pretty too. I'm not gonna be too long, man, but just like John Henry, in and out of juvenile hall, man, Jack never gave up on me. Never gave up on me. Even to this day. Didn't always make the best decisions, you know, but he never gave up on me. That's why I go so hard like I do now today. Been working real hard behind the scenes. Ain't been up to juvenile in a couple because they kicked me out because I had COVID real quick. But I'm coming back up there, but I've been doing work. The only reason why a lot of us is doing this is because of Jack, and y'all know that. You feel me? This is a testament. And there's a saying that goes, you can tell a tree by the fruit that it bears. Siobhan's still doing this work. Corey, John Henry, my brother. You feel me? Y'all know what we doing out here. Shaman, Rudy, I come through United Players, all of that. And I'm gonna say this before I get off, man, because I was supposed to go to the California Youth Authority because I had went to Glenwood, Log Cabin, B1 through B5, just tearing stuff up, and the system had gave up on me, but Jack didn't, and they believed in Jack so much that they allowed Jack to send me to Glen Mills School for Boys all the way in Pennsylvania. They didn't even want me, but they took me because of Jacqua. I got my GED, my high school diploma. I still went to prison after that, and Jack still never gave up on me. But Jack came and see me all the way from San Francisco to Pennsylvania. Nobody's ever did that for me, not even my mama came out there. But Jack came and see me, and I'll never forget that as long as I live. That's why I'll never, ever give up on these boys in this community, because I remember. That's why after this meeting, I'm going right back to the streets where I've been at, following on the footsteps, the shoulders of all of these amazing individuals that's up here right now, that's doing the work. I appreciate you, Jack. I love you. If I don't never, ever see you again a day in my life, that's why they call me Black Jack. And I'm with that. And my mama always asking me where my husband at. And she always talking about Jack, man. We love you, Jack. Keep doing it.
If he the Black Jack, I'm the Filipino Jack. And I'm gonna tell you a real story. This is how the power, watch, that this man has. Y'all remember the Boars Awards? The Bay Area Rap Awards show where every rap group and every turf is there in the whole Bay Area. Jack got chose as the honoree for the whole award show. And I remember when Jack was on the stage, a fight broke out. I'm talking about every turf was finna get down. Everybody finna fight, and they said, well, this award goes to Jacqua. I heard them do, I swear to God, I was on the stage with, they said, hold up, everybody stop. Every thug stopped. I swear to God. They stopped, they gave Jack the award, and after he got the stage, they started fighting again. So I got a solution for that stuff that happens downtown. so they won't break into Louis Vuitton or nowhere else. Put Jack ass out there. Jack, we go back since Material Hills when I was a juvenile delinquent, right? We go back. I got all my game up on that hill, Mo. You know what's up, right? Jack, man, probably wrote. He been doing this way for a long time. He probably wrote letters for people on Alcatraz. Probably visit people on Alcatraz. But I love you, Jack. You inspire me, right? Like many others here. Y'all know what's happening. We're gonna give your flowers while you're here, player, because you is the original GOAT. And so we love you, homie. I brought these youngsters here. Thanks, Corey, for inviting me. He shot this information out to me Friday. I told the youngsters, y'all gonna meet a legend. There you go, right there.
I literally have only two things to say. I always say, if you call yourself doing work in San Francisco and you don't know who Jack is, you ain't doing no work. And the second thing is, I've been doing this work for a long, long time, and Jack called me and left me a voicemail at my office at San Bruno Jail, and he talked about what good work I was doing and how much he loved me and how proud he was of the work I was doing, and I was like, I must be doing some real good work if Jack called and left a message. Jack is probably one of the very, very few people from the community that called and checked on me working in the jail during the pandemic. I love you for that. Occasionally, he's gonna call and leave a message saying he's thinking about me, he loves me, and I appreciate that so much. Jack, you are a legend. You are the greatest of all time, and I love you so much.
Get up here. Yeah, Mike Texada, you guys, for y'all that don't know, I work at General Hospital. And I work with, and I work with, because the mic, I don't like talking through a mic. I like y'all just hearing my voice. So, bottom line is, you guys, I work with all the individuals that get injured coming through the city. Jack is the one that told me about that job. Jack has been my mentor since the 70s. And I remember on Hayden Ashbury, I was bumping my head and got in trouble, and I had to go cook for the homeless. And Jack came up there on the 10-speed, advocating for the homeless. And he educated me. Right now, you guys, I can tell y'all right now, the city wraparound model is on a national level, and that's because of that man right there. I love you, Jack.
Well, again, thank you to everyone for being here to celebrate Jack and everything that he's meant to us for so many years. I know some people may not be comfortable with speaking publicly, so just make sure that you have that private conversation with Jack and you show him some love for everything that he's done, because we are very fortunate. When I think about how far we've come in this city and really the challenges that our community in particular have experienced over the years, I can't help be appreciative to people like Jack for what they've done to make a difference in people's lives. And I know many of us, in our heart feel a certain kind of way about Jack and want to make sure he knows how much we love and appreciate him, because were it not for him, some of us wouldn't be here to this day. And so thank you, Jack, for coming and letting me honor you. And at this time, I want us to do a group photo on the stairs here, just to commemorate this moment and to celebrate Jack. And just so you know, Jack, just put this in your windshield and you'll get parking for free today. You won't get a parking ticket because it's your day. And then if you get a parking ticket, give it to Shaman. Thank you all so much for coming.